Well, thank you. Okay. Well, I apologize to you for um, complexities which are nothing to do with us but technology. And but we're connected now, and I hope uh, we will go through the session without interruption from the ether. Okay, I greet you all in the name of Christ and wish upon you the peace and blessings of God. It's a pleasure to share with you. I'm here at the invitation of Professor Anthony Reddy. As he says, we've been friends for a long, long time. And he's asked me to share my reflections on living in a world of at least two different faiths. I have roots in the Sikh faith, and part of the Christian community. Um, and I'm going to stick to, as the title says, personal reflections. Okay, I could give you an academic paper, but I'm doing personal reflections as mentioned in the title for the session. And so I would say where you locate yourself in terms of your faith is part of what I would term religious freedom. It's okay for anybody to be part of any faith that they wish to. So my name is Inderjit Bhogal. Most people I find um, uh, have difficulty even just saying my name. So they might start off by saying, "What? Um, a Sikh Punjabi name for a Methodist minister?" Um, and then some of them will say, "Well, I can't even say it. How do you say the name? Oh, can I call you John? Can I call you Sam? It's easier." No, you can't call me Sam. That's not my name. I'm Inderjit. Um, Try Inderjit. My grandson, who's 4 years old, can say my name. So, what about obstetrics? Can you say obstetrics? Yeah, of course they can. Says, what's the problem? My name is a lot easier to say than obstetrics. So, anyway, Professor Anthony has written copiously about identity. Uh, we're all multi-layered, as he says. We have multiple identities, and our names are just a portal, aren't they? Just a portal to our many, many identities. And as the psalmist rejoices before God, I praise you, for fearfully and wonderfully made, and wonderful are your works. And as Shakespeare says, to yourself at least be true. And it must follow as the night follows the day, that thou canst not then be false to anyone, to yourself. Um, but one of the biggest challenges, actually, in my experience, is to just be yourself in a world that's constantly trying to fit you into their mold and to make you like everyone else. Um, so I'm going to share my story as a contribution. And let me begin by saying I've done everything that a good uh, son in a good Sikh family ought not to do. Um, I've become a follower of Jesus Christ. Um, and not only that, I then went on to train for ministry. I became ordained. So I was not kind of under the radar, quiet Christian person. Um, and then to top it all, I went on to become the president of the Methodist conference in Britain, which meant that I became a public figure. So although my family were hoping I'd keep it all quiet, I was appearing in the Times of London, the Times of India, and so on. It was difficult to keep a low profile. And then I went and married Kathy. Kathy is from North Yorkshire, a white English woman. Um, and then we ended up living away from my family. All my brothers and sisters, they all live in the Midlands. I'm the only one who's moved away to live somewhere else. Then I went to live in Northern Ireland. I've been going to Northern Ireland since my student days in the 70s and in the heydays of the troubles there. And I had to go there without telling my family where I was. And then in the end, I ended up living in Belfast for 3 years. So I'm a complex human being. We all are very complex people. And people often ask me, well, it's a well-known story now, where are you from? And where are you really from? And in Northern Ireland, that's a very real question. It's a regular question. Everybody asks that of everyone. Where are you from? There's a book I have on my shelves here by Tim Brannigan, whose um, father is white, his mother is black, and so he's written a book called "Where Are You Really From?" A few years ago, he wrote that book, and that's written in the context of Northern Ireland, where people are all trying to suss you out, by wherever you are from, that locality in terms of your identity as a Catholic or a Protestant, and which part of the uh, context you are. So when people ask me, where are you from? I say to them usually, where do you think I'm from? And then we go around the world. Very few people can work out where I'm from. They go all around the world. Nobody can work out. I'm actually from Africa. That's where I was born. Uh, but before I answer the question, I usually say to people, don't ask me where I'm from. Ask me where I'm going, because that's more important. And before I answer that question, I ask you, where do you think you're going? So that they oh, I hadn't looked into all that, but it's a good question. And so we begin to talk about where this person is from, and we never get then to the question where I'm from. That becomes unimportant. Questions around who you are, uh, where you are from, uh, have been part of me from very early life, and also for my children now. My daughter, who's now 33, when she was about three, came home one day from school and said that somebody, daddy, had called me at school a half caste. What is a half caste? I said, let me say to you, you're not half of anything. You're a full human being. And if anything, you're a doubly blessed being because your mom and your dad came from two different cultures and identities. And so you are a wonderfully blessed and enriched person. Anyway, I didn't know if that made any sense to her, but a few days after that, she got some of her friends. We were all sitting in a circle, chatting with each other, and one of their friends was missing. So somebody said, "Where's Philippa?" And somebody said, "Oh, Philippa's mum's having a baby, um, and so she's at home." And they said, "And Philippa's mum is having a half caste baby." So my daughter Anjali said, "No, not half caste, um, full human being, and doubly blessed." And then she explained to these other 3, 4 year olds what that meant. And then all of a sudden, they went all around the circle, and all of them said that they were doubly blessed because one girl said, "Oh, my father is uh, uh, goes to Church of England, and my mother goes to Roman Catholic Church, so I must be doubly blessed." And so, what was negative, all of a sudden, they all wanted to say that they were doubly blessed. But where does this idea of half caste come from? Um, Suggesting that you're half a person, only half human, and which part of you is human? And this takes you back to the days of the Empire, British. Indian alliances, and where it seems that the white part of the alliance doesn't have a caste because that person is fully human. The Indian part of the alliance has a caste, but because it's only half of the uh, partnership, then the offspring is half caste. The ridiculous idea and makes no sense to me whatsoever, and I reject it utterly. We are one race, one human race, all of us made in the image of God, with immense and inexhaustible diversity. No two human beings have or have had or will have the same DNA profiles. We are immense. One of the books I like reading and turn to regularly is by Rabindranath Tagore, Ali, which literally means Song of the Lord. Very first line, this is the Indian William Shakespeare. The very first line of his uh, writing is, "You have made me endless. Such is thy great pleasure." And that very what the psalmist read, "You have made me wondrously." We are people with layers and layers and layers on layers of identity. We're a bit like an onion, you know, you peel it, and there are more and more layers as you remove one layer. Our layers are not like that of an onion. Our layers are all integrated, interwoven, though it is always possible for us to reveal ourselves one layer at a time. And of course, always attempt to reduce us to identifiable layers. Um, it was Carl Jung who said, "You are valued by being diminished." And I've certainly found that to be true in my experience. We are categorized, we are pigeonholed, we are stereotyped, and of course, we are scapegoated, being used. People seem to only be able to comprehend you by minimizing you, and seems to be a difficulty in seeing the and the complexity of our humanity. And the hardest thing, as I say, in life, in my experience, is to be your entire self with all your immensity and enrichment, your whole self. It's difficult to be that when others try to mold you into their inadequate, incomplete image of you. I was preaching at a well-known educational institution, and I preached on the words of Jesus Christ. If much as you do to the least of these, you do it to me. And at the end of the service, the organizer said to me, "You haven't fulfilled your invitation." I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "You haven't preached the gospel." So I don't know what you understand by the gospel, but I just preached on the word of Jesus Christ. Um, and but it created an incredible hostility towards me for the sermon I preached, um, and to the extent where somebody said to me, "I have to go back to being a Sikh, leave the church. You are manipulating the gospel, and you're not a Christian. You're a Sikh, and pretending to be a Christian. Go back to being a Sikh." That's in the church. The Sikh community, um, I contributed to a book written by a Sikh scholar called Satwan Kaur Red, and she'd written a book. for sixth installment to help us understand Sikhism. She wanted me to write this as a joint authorship, but I said, look, you write it. You know, you're the Sikh scholar. I'll support you. And in the end, I wrote a chapter in it, using my story, and um, and she had terrific opposition and um, hostility towards her from Sikh people who said, "Why have you asked this man to contribute to the book? Because it's about Sikhism, and you asked this person who's not a Sikh to contribute to it." So she told me about this, and I said that you should go back to the authors who have ridiculed you and say to them that the Sikh scriptures, the Guru Granth Sahib, contains writings by people of different faiths. It includes writings of Jains and Parsis and Muslims and Hindus, and that those people who find it offensive for you to include a chapter written by me should go away and throw away all the bits that are written by different faiths in the Guru Granth Sahib, and it would leave their scriptures in a holy mess. So what I'm saying is, people find it difficult to recognize that you can have a complex identity. Um, this is nothing new. The first followers of Jesus Christ found themselves in this tricky situation, and one of their first councils, Acts chapter 15, was about whether um, you can have aspects of your identity which are from a different tradition. Should Christians be circumcised? And they decided not to make a big issue out of that. Paul said, "I'm a Hebrew of Hebrews." He followed Jesus Christ as a Hebrew. The first followers of Jesus followed him within their Jewish culture and tradition. I follow Christ with my Sikh culture. Let me show you a photograph. You may recognize who is on this picture. All right, you see that? That's um, one of my mentors. I lived 100 years ago, visited Britain 100 years ago, actually, and this was taken well 100 years ago. He's standing outside Methodist College in Celio, and in the in the early days of my Christian discipleship, when I was beginning to be a bit confused because I didn't see other Indians who were followers of, I came across a picture in Methodist College. I'd never seen this figure before, and I said, "Who is that?" Somebody said he's Sadhu Sundar Singh, and I said, "Why have you got a picture of a Sikh in the college?" They said he's a follower of Jesus Christ, and so I began to learn more about him, and there he is, to all intents and purposes, a Sikh, but who is a very prominent, very distinguished, very well known, highly acclaimed uh, Sikh gentleman who is a follower of Jesus Christ. One of the great Sikh Punjabi followers of Jesus Christ, and the only one actually from a Sikh background who is recognized as a saint um, in the Church of India. And there is a day in the Christian calendar in India, 3rd of September, his birthday, when he is remembered and revered. And so he's held up by Christians here. Uh, and the intriguing thing to me is that he is especially held up as a an icon by some of those people who find me offensive and who tell me to go back to being a Sikh. And um, it, it, it fascinates me, and I think there's something else going on. Thou hast made me endless. Such is thy pleasure. This frail vessel thou emptiest again and again and fillest it with ever fresh life. Rabindranath Tagore. And he goes on to write, there thou hast thy seat, the inmost shrine of my heart. This is where God is. And it doesn't matter who you are, the temple of God is in the inmost shrine of your being. So I am a very inclusive person in the way I understand and interpret faith and Christian gospel. Um, I am an inclusivist, but I stand on a particular standpoint. Um, I stand within my Sikh tradition. So I am a follower of Jesus Christ. I am grounded in Him. I am devoted to Christ. I have my roots in the Sikh faith. So people often say and describe me as a former Sikh who's now a Christian. I don't like either of those terms, former Sikh or Christian. I don't call myself a former Sikh Christian. I say I am a follower of Jesus Christ with roots in the Sikh faith. I have deep regard and respect for the Sikh tradition and especially for Guru Nanak, the founder of the Sikh faith. I believe God is one, and God is with us, and God is each within us, and God is seen and served in those whom people may regard as little ones, those who are considered to be the least important, those on the edges, the most marginalized people. Jesus said, if you want to see me and serve me, in as much as you did it to the least of these, you did it to me. I believe that God's grace, now to use the Methodist term, prevenient grace, that all people are freely blessed with, and we are blessed, as it says in the Gospel according to Saint John. We are blessed with grace. Such is the endless pleasure of God. And the word prevenient, we don't use it these days, do we? When did you last ever use the term prevenient in a daily conversation? It comes from the word previous, and prevenient grace is the grace that is previously there before you had anything to do with anyone. The grace of God that God blesses everyone with, and that you can build on with grace upon grace. So we do not use labels to describe people. I just appreciate people like they are. I don't call anybody radical or liberal or evangelical or charismatic or what have you. They don't make any sense to me. To me, people are either closed to learning from others or they are open to learning from others. People are either close to learning from different opinions or they are open to them. And I have an open attitude to everyone, to all faiths, and to all ideologies, and seek the best in all people. I am persuaded by and seek to proclaim the good news revealed in Jesus that God is with us and priority that Jesus gives to the most marginalized. I do not pity different religions are different paths. I am not a syncretist. I don't try to marry different religions together. There is only one way indeed, revealed in Jesus Christ, and that is that God comes to us and that God is with us. That's how God is revealed in Christ. God comes to us in Christ. And that's how God is with people. We don't go to God, God comes to us. Different religions offer different insights into who and how God is and into God's will and way. And Asian and Christian don't go together for many people. Punjabi Christians are perhaps Punjabi Sikh Christians are probably more deeply aware of this than other Asian Christians. Mukti Barton, whose works you will be familiar with, writes well about this, and noting, for example, that there is more awareness and acceptance that there are African African Caribbean Christians, and she compares this with the fact that, to quote, many British Asian Christian is a contradiction in terms. People generally believe that Asians could have any religion other than Christianity. So if you look at an Asian person, you're more uh, likely to accept them as being Muslims or Hindus or Jains or Parsis or Zoroastrians than Christians. Asian people, especially Sikhs, have said to me, "What are you doing in a white man's religion?" That's what Asian people say to me. And then I say to them, "Which white man are you talking about?" And of course, the white man they have in mind um, is well portrayed as the blonde, blue-eyed, pale-skinned Jesus Christ, locked up in a stained glass window in churches. And I have to remind people that the Christian faith did not originate in Europe. It's not a white man's religion. Jesus was not white, and Christianity was present in India before it ever reached England. I agree with Dr. Barton that much of this um, is what you call the white man's religion, is to be located in the British colonial empire history, in which Asians were seen as pagans and heathens who were anything but Christian, um, or that term that we still hear people talking to using today, that Asian people are non-Christian. No, everything is identified from Christian. You're either Christian, and that's you as a human being. Others are less than human in that they are non-Christian. It's a bit like saying, and then there are those who are non-white. Nonsense. This kind of colonial theology lives on, and it lives on in Asian Christians. Most people who don't know me, upon meeting me, assume that I am a Muslim or a Hindu. Even Asian people think that. And there are those who, when they learn a bit about me, think I'm confused. They think Inderjit doesn't know where to locate himself, um, and he has his feet in different fields. Well, even other Asian Christians find me an anomaly because I don't regard and Hindus and Jains and Muslims, Parsis, Sikhs and Zoroastrians as heathens and living in darkness. In Bollywood movies, it's interesting to see how Christians are portrayed in the Indian movies. Um, and Indian movies are big culture makers. Um, And in those movies, if you have seen any, uh, Christians rarely get noted, and when they do, they're shown as simpletons, very poor, targets of fun. They are mostly shown as servants, um, and sometimes, occasionally, the Christians are portrayed in a reasonably positive way. So, to many Asians and also to white people, I am an anomaly. To Punjabis, I am an embarrassment because Sikhs would rather die than deflect from their faith. And to many white Christians, including Methodists, I am a novelty, a prize convert, a trophy to display. To date, I have never been invited by any South Asian Christian congregation to come and lead worship or to speak at any major Asian Christian conference or Asian Christian led conference. Um, Although I was asked to go and speak to the Friends of the Church of North India at their conference recently, and I have preached in Chinese Methodist congregation. So whenever I turn up at an Asian Christian event, people are always very welcoming, but invite me in their pulpit or on their podium. I hardly get to worship God, therefore, in my own language. So I do like to read the New Testament in Punjabi when I am engaged in personal devotions. And when I was president of the Methodist Conference, I read the New Testament in Punjabi. Well, in my appearance, I normally wear what's called some people call it the grandfather collar. It's actually the Nehru collar. These are the shirts I wear, and the jacket I wear is also the Nehru collar. Uh, what amazes me is how many people will come up to me and turn my collar down and say, "Oh, Inderjit, your collar is a bit, wrong. Come on, you are get sorted before you get stand in front of public." Just Anthony, when you and I were at a funeral service just 10 days ago, you saw my jacket there, and somebody known to us both, who has known me a long time, came up to me and turned my collar down and said, "Inderjit, get yourself right, you know, you look a bit unkempt." So it's very difficult. That's what I'm saying to you, to be who you are and to resist being put into a kind of a pigeonhole. So, to date, I have been, sadly, and I am the only Sikh-born Punjabi follower of Jesus Christ with roots in the Sikh faith as a Methodist minister in the UK. It's a lonely position to be in, difficult position to be in. And the hardest thing I have faced is to be myself when people around me have tried to make me someone else and to fit me into their molds. I drink from many wells, but don't you ever call me a separatist because that does not make sense to me. The root of my theology is Punjabi. It is based upon the fact that we are all made from the same clay, to quote Guru Nanak. We are all made in the same image of God, to quote Genesis. I detest casteism and I detest racism and sexism and prejudice toward anyone on any basis. And my theology is based upon the central idea of food and hospitality and of being welcoming, especially to those who are the most marginalized. I see great connection between the Sikh practice of Guru, the open kitchen available at every Sikh temple every day. I see a great connection between that and Jesus's practice of keeping an open table where all are welcome. No one is turned away or made to feel like an outsider. I would never regard myself or call myself as a guru, but my understanding of leadership is centered on the concept of guru. Because what guru means, um, it's a word that's made up of two root verbs, gu and ru. Um, it is possible to say that gu means that which stinks. Ru is that which is sweet aroma. And literally, therefore, a guru is not a teacher, but a guru is one who is prepared to sit where there is mess and chaos and a stink and open the windows, point to hope and possibility and opportunity, to sit in the darkness, sit where there is despair and stench, and to bring them fresh air, fresh hope, and fresh opportunity. That's what I think I've been about in ministry. I like the Sikh and Methodist theology of the priesthood of all believers, where all people have direct access to God and there is no need for any mediators. And I reject the sword as a weapon, which is a symbol that is used in Sikhism and in Christianity. But I'm happy to endorse the scriptures as a two-edged sword, as the New Testament says, and which is also how Sikhs symbolize scriptures, a two-edged sword, which is there at the center of the khanda, which is the Sikh symbol, and noted as such in Hebrews 4 and verse 12. So, my friends, um, I think I've said it to give you a little bit of my story, share some personal reflections, and maybe, well, my hope is to provoke discussion. So, Anthony, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.